In a forest deep in South Africa, authorities discovered Kelly Khumalo lying beside 10 live snakes, naked, silent, and surrounded by burning candles. What really happened the night Kelly escaped? How did she end up in a forest, linked to bizarre rituals, reptilian company, and yet another twist in the Senzo Meyiwa saga? You're about to hear the version no one else dares to speak. If you saw someone sleeping peacefully next to 10 snakes, would you think it's witchcraft, mental collapse, or a spiritual ritual gone wrong? Comment below what's your first instinct. It started like a rumor too wild to be real. In the early hours of dawn, police stumbled upon Kelly Khumalo in a remote forest near Piet Retief, naked still and surrounded by 10 live snakes that slithered in perfect silence. Officers reported the chilling calm of the scene, like time had paused to observe a secret ritual. Some thought she was unconscious, but her eyes were open, alert, unfazed. No one spoke at first. The snakes didn't strike. The candles burned low. Whatever was happening there wasn't random. It felt staged. It felt ancient. Snakes don't lie. Scenes like this always tell a deeper truth. When you find ritual in chaos, it's not chaos. It's code. Just 3 days before the forest discovery, Kelly had been flagged as a flight risk. With court dates looming over the unresolved Senzo Meyiwa murder trial, she disappeared without warning. Insiders say it was a web of body doubles, burner phones, and hush-money logistics. Border Patrol was given her name, yet no one saw her leave. But that forest? It wasn't near any border. It was a hiding place designed to confuse, not escape. She didn't run from justice. She veered into mysticism. She didn't flee court. She rewrote the battlefield. When someone disappears without crossing borders, they've entered a spiritual one. To an outsider, 10 snakes seem terrifying. To a traditional Zulu mystic, they whisper meaning. The number 10, linked with ancestral closure, spiritual transition, and power reclamation, was no coincidence. Some interpret the moment as a spiritual plea, a pact with forces unseen. Others believe it was a statement. I am above earthly judgment. But to investigators, it became a cultural riddle cloaked in venom. 2 truths emerged. Mysticism can mask guilt or reveal it. Takeaway: symbols can either unlock secrets or distract from crimes. It wasn't just snakes. The area around Kelly was set up like a sacred altar. Red candles, ashes drawn in a perfect spiral, and sigils carved into bark. Forensic occult analysts called it a cleansing reversal ceremony, a ritual used to invert spiritual consequences. But the deeper meaning? It was likely an attempt to erase spiritual stains, guilt, fear, or consequence. One detective muttered, "She didn't want forgiveness. She wanted erasure." Cleansing rituals cleanse nothing if guilt still breeds inside. When someone draws sacred signs, ask what they're trying to delete. The timing set the country ablaze. Just as the Senzo Meyiwa case resurfaced in court with new evidence, Kelly vanished, only to be found performing what looked like spiritual defiance. To many, it wasn't mental collapse. It was a message. Some believe the ritual was aimed not at spirits, but at South Africans. I am untouchable. Senzo's family called it a final insult. Justice delayed is injustice reborn. When timing feels too perfect, you're not watching coincidence. You're watching control. Was it madness or method? That's the question now driving both court psychiatrists and conspiracy theorists. Friends admitted Kelly had been increasingly withdrawn, often speaking of ancestral shadows and energetic attacks. In private, she told one relative, "I must purify before judgment reaches me." Experts call this dissociative mysticism, a way to process trauma when reality becomes unbearable. Still, lying in a forest among 10 serpents isn't typical grief. Between sanity and spirit, some people build new dimensions. When guilt grows too loud, the mind may speak in rituals. A twist came when a local snake handler stepped forward. His name was Musa, and he told reporters, "She paid me to bring 10 non-venomous snakes." She said it was protection from death itself. According to him, Kelly insisted on specific breeds, brown house snakes, linked in folklore to ancestral clarity and rebirth. He warned her the ritual was dangerous. She allegedly replied, "I'm already condemned by man. Let the ancestors decide now." It wasn't insanity. It was intention. The snakes weren't props. They were witnesses. When someone summons snakes for safety, ask who's hunting them. The leaked photo hit WhatsApp first, then Twitter, then television. Kelly Khumalo, staring into the void, candles flickering around her, serpents curled by her feet. Public reaction detonated. Some cried witchcraft. Others demanded her institutionalization. Radio hosts debated whether she was performing repentance or pulling off a manipulative PR stunt. But one thing was certain. South Africa had never seen anything like this before. Suddenly, justice became theater. Between witch hunts and hashtags, the truth got lost. Takeaway. When society judges through headlines, understanding becomes extinct. The police issued a measured statement. The subject was found in high psychological distress. No harm to herself or officers. Investigation ongoing. But behind closed doors, officers weren't so calm. One described the scene as otherworldly, while another reportedly resigned the next day, citing spiritual contamination. Rumors even swirled of a cursed patrol truck. One officer's car engine failed 3 times post-incident. Official silence screamed. What they won't admit is sometimes what matters most. When facts are too strange to explain, the truth hides behind formality. If you're still watching, you're one of few who doesn't flinch from the dark. Hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and join us, because we're just getting deeper. August 1st isn't random. It's known in traditional African spiritual calendars as a liminal night, the veil opening, when spirits pass through more freely. That forest isn't just trees. It's a site locals avoid after dusk. Several unmarked graves exist nearby, and shamans say the land speaks louder than the living. Kelly's ritual matched this ancient rhythm with precision. She picked a night when judgment crosses from earth to spirit. When someone moves with ancient timing, they're not running, they're invoking. Since being found, Kelly hasn't posted, spoken, or granted interviews. Her legal team says she's not in the condition to respond. But silence is louder than any speech. Some say it's spiritual obedience. Others call it a lawyer's gag order. Fans argue it's dignity. Critics call it evasion. But there's one undeniable pattern in high-profile spirals. Strategic silence. No words. No reaction. Just echo. Silence isn't always retreat. Sometimes it's control. When scandal breaks, those who speak least often shape the narrative most. Here's where the footage gets eerie. A jogger's dashcam caught more than Kelly's forest scene. In the far ridge, a cloaked figure stood watching. Red robe, still posture. Vanished seconds later. Police dismissed it as pareidolia, a shadow mistaken for a man. But video analysts confirmed the shape moves unnaturally. It's there. Now the question hangs. Was she alone? Sometimes it's not what you see. It's who saw you. When witnesses vanish, the unseen becomes more important than the seen.